Hello, my name is Mordred Viking and I would like to welcome you to episode 7 of this Let's Play European Universalis 4 with the Cossacks expansion. We are currently playing as the custom nation of Stormwind up here in Ireland and Scotland, and we are still trying to recover our loans from the last game. In that I was wrong. I thought we recovered from 19, not 21 loans, so we actually got through 7 loans, not just 5 as I'd been saying. Anyway, time must flow. One of the things you'll remember I was trying to do was get an alliance with the Netherlands here. They do like us a fair amount, yes they do. So all we would need to do is rebuild our fleet. And Brittany, recall. Let's see who we'll send to next. I might just try and keep relations here up. So I'm hoping that if the Netherlands gets drawn into a war or something, that will hurt their own military forces and make it more likely that we could get an alliance with them. So we can lose 1 mercantilism, or 50 diplo power. Now we basically never want to lose mercantilism. It's a permanent modifier which is actually very, very difficult to increase once you start losing it, or just generally. Basically what it does is it provides a bonus to all domestic, I think? Yeah, all domestic trade power. So we want to keep that high. So for example here it will say trade power 11.2 and you can see that is modified plus 20% mercantilism. So basically each point of mercantilism gives you 2% extra provincial trade. It's good, it's very, very good to have, and any nation really expecting to do any trade of any kind will want to have it. Right, so an election. We probably don't want to keep this guy around, although he was fairly young, wasn't he? Yeah, he was, but we just don't have the Republican tradition to support that. We still want admin points, because we still want to go up in our admin ideas, so we'll quite happily take that. We have ACB against Northumbria, because Lancaster is, of course, rightfully ours. So we'll start fabricating another claim here for that other place. Cola's taking a few hits from rebels, that's good. Netherlands has fully increased. How are we doing for money? It's definitely going up. 2.6 now. Good. Who else could we possibly want an alliance with? See, Venetia here seems to be expanding, so we might want something down here which could counter the growth of their kingdom. No, I don't think so. We'll just make friends with other people in this area, basically just to discourage them from ever declaring war or joining a war against us. So we're just going to make a bunch of friends now. Because we're friendly with everyone. We're nice people, really. That was me choking on a laugh. Right, loans, 68. These are all fairly high. Okay. Now we can get another idea. Fantastic. This one reduces the interest. Woohoo! We'll repay that one, we'll extend that one. So we now have 1 less interest, which means our interest payments are really tanking at the moment, which is absolutely brilliant. See, that's basically given us a free ducat every month in income, so we should start paying these loans off more and more quickly. Yes, so we're 7% away from getting this papal influence. We're currently getting 0.5 from base value and +1 from cardinals. And cardinals are one aspect of the Catholic Church which I have not spoken about at all. You can basically invest papal influence in getting a chance to become the next papal controller. That's not to say you become the Pope, you just become the guy who basically is the puppet master of the Pope. The Pope becomes your puppet. And that gives you several fairly nice bonuses. So extra stability cost, decrease diplomats, prestige, advisor costs, yeah, they're really nice. But right now I actually want to spend my papal influence on these bonuses. I do think that's a more powerful way to go at the moment, because it's not guaranteed. You can invest, I think it's 5 at a time, yes, and that gives you a % chance. The more people are investing, the less chance you will have. It's spread out as a percentage. I don't particularly want to compete. This becomes easier when the Reformation kicks off, because the Protestant and Reformed nations obviously don't pander to the Pope, so less nations will then be vying for the Pope's authority. How are we doing with Wales? How much do you like us? You like us a fair amount, but I am going to increase it. You basically want to try and keep your relations with the Pope high if you are a Catholic, because that does provide a fairly hefty modifier to the Pope's opinion of you and their influence. We could potentially get a advisor. So advisors, what they do is they give you monarch points. So it's basically a way of converting money into monarch points. So you can get either administrative, diplomatic or military. At the moment these are all level 1. You can get up to level 1 to level 3. The level 2s are expensive, the level 3 ones are extremely expensive. It's not linear. A level 2 will cost more than just double that of a level 1. There'll probably be about 7 ducats or so. Do we have any level 2s to check? No, we don't. And I think that one of the changes in Cossacks is it changed the way that these are generated. So if you're I think it's done on whether you're a duchy, kingdom or empire, though I might be wrong on that one. I'll need to look that up for you. So basically we are a duchy at the moment. So we can only get level 1s, or we're more likely to get level 1s. Well, if you're an empire with lots of money, maybe it's to do with income. I don't know. I'll look that one up. More mercantilism. See here, this is one of the few opportunities we will have to get mercantilism. So in exchange for 10 years of 10 less power in the English Channel, we get +1 mercantilism, which is brilliant. So we've become stronger at trade in the North Sea, basically, at a cost to the Channel. As I've mentioned before, we still can't reach the White Sea. The way that you increase your trade range is by either getting lands up here and coring them, or by getting diplomatic technologies which have this symbol here. And that is basically your trade range. So at level 8 it will increase by 10, would be the next one. Oh, we get more morale next level. Interesting, we could do that. It is at -10, let's do it. So our navy's just got stronger. So here we go. So the next tech level, which of course would be 8, we get the +10 trade range. So that would increase the number of nodes that we could then begin competing in. Tyrannical nobles. Lose 1 or lose loyalty. Now the nobles are already rather disloyal. I don't really have a way of increasing that loyalty straight off. What I could, however, do is give them more land. So I'm going to chastise the landowner. I'm going to pause that for a second. I'm going to bring up the estates overview, and then we can see here the percentage of the total domination given to each faction. At the moment the nobles are by far the weakest. They only have 2 provinces, giving 3% and 13%. We could probably do with giving them perhaps this 13. Oops. Need to check how much trade this is giving and whether this is a central trade. It is not. This has a manpower value of 500. Meth is already theirs. So yes, I'm going to give them Aberdeenshire. So we'll revoke it from the Burkers, which will reduce their loyalty by 13%, which is just about safe. We're really going to have to start getting some new land soon. And then we'll give it to the nobility, which should increase their own loyalty. There we are. Oh, sorry, it doesn't reduce their loyalty. It reduces the amount of land they control. Yeah, of course, that's right. The nobles currently control more land than they should. Their influence has risen accordingly, but we're keeping them happy. That's kind of the important thing right now. Can we pay another loan? We can, and we shall. See, having 2% interest is amazing. And in the vanilla game, playing as Venice allows you to really leverage a lot of very, very cheap money, and Genoa too. Both of them are good for that. And you can do a lot with a lot of loans. And in order to maintain your loans, you need a big income generally to pay off the interest. Wales, we're actually going to keep him in Wales. So there is a limit to the minimum. Yeah, there you go. So the minimum interest you can have is 0.25, which is theoretically possible if you take the economic idea, the papal usury and administrative, and then if you took a -1 for your national idea, you would actually get to 0.25. Right, so we could gain inflation, which we will burn off fairly quickly. We can gain republican tradition. We're going to reject the reforms. We're more conservative, we're more conventional in how we do things. The Republic must stay strong. Northumbria, how's your army doing? This is one thing we definitely need to keep an eye on. Northumbria has 13,000 men and a force limit of 20. Their force limit is actually growing rather alarmingly. Ours is only 18. We do need more soldiers, so we'll grab another... Shall I get a cavalry? I think I might get a cavalry. What do we have? We currently have 10-4. No, I'll keep that. I'll just get more infantry. Still can't get artillery, not quite yet. So this will bring us up to 17,000 total. One more, then we'll be at our limit. Ah, we can get another idea already. These ideas are coming through very quickly, probably because of the speed that we're playing at, and the fact we have an administrative guy and a focus on admin. Yeah, that probably helps too. So this increases the speed that autonomy decreases, which is nice to have. Actually, do we want to tech up? We probably do want to tech up at some point. Workshops are nice. We don't currently have the money to use any of those workshops, so in fact no, we'll get the autonomy. This will let us burn through things more quickly. We did get the land reform a while ago. Every 3 ideas that you get here, you unlock one of your national ideas. So we have the development cost 10% cheaper. The next one we get is idea cost is 5% cheaper, so we do want that one fairly soon. And in fact the next economic idea we get reduces the amount we're paying the armies, which will save us even more money. And money is good. Money is very, very good. Okay, we've done with Gascogne. We'll send one to... How's Finland doing? We'll send one to Finland because we really don't want to annoy them. They're currently at war with Kola. They're beating Kola at the moment. And once Kola falls, that's kind of the big barrier between us and Finland, so that's when they start getting a little more dangerous. Oh, we got a diplomatic insult, Casus Belli against Northumbria, or we can increase Northumbria's opinion of us. We're rivals. We're never going to like each other, so I'll take the free CB. And I'll move the troops. I wonder if we're ready for a war yet. No, we're not. Mordred, loans. Focus. We need the loans. Okay, so another election. These really are going by blindingly fast. We probably don't need a bureaucrat anymore. In fact, we should probably get the military guy because we are slipping behind. So we'll take the military. How's Northumbria doing? They're probably on 7 right now. Yes, we want to try and get ahead of them if we possibly can. We've almost recovered our manpower. Should we get the final unit? Yes, I think we should. Do we want a cavalry though? Cavalry, cavalry, cavalry. Yeah, let's... See, the reason I'm hesitating here is when we start getting artillery, I usually try to only have 4 cavalry in an army, so we can basically have something nibbling at the enemy's flanks. Well, if we get 5, that's going to cause an odd number, and I don't particularly like odd numbers. No, infantry. When in doubt, infantry. If we were a monarchy, then I might have something more to consider for cavalry, but monarchies get a different idea. Over here they get aristocracy instead of plutocratic, and aristocratic ideas give you stronger cavalry, while plutocratic it's actually really strong. It's more of a balance between all the different categories, but it's under military ideas, which as a republic very often you don't use all the military ideas because you tend to focus on the admin and diplomatic because that's where the economic ideas are. And plutocratic basically gives you more morale, it gives you more trade and more troops. Yeah, mercenaries and manpower. So it doesn't increase the power of your armies, it just makes them bigger and more scary, so people are less likely to attack you. Bashkira has a civil war. That is the massive horde. That could be interesting. That could fragment into a number of small nations. We can get new tech. We can get military. Fantastic. So this is very notable because it allows us to get artillery for the first time. Also tactics and artillery combat strength. Yeah, that's fine. Now the reason that's important is artillery offer you a new aspect of the game. As I've described before, they fight behind the front line. Early on, their fire and shock is pretty poor, so not really worthwhile getting. However, they have another benefit, and that is they increase the speed of sieges. So you'll remember our sieges earlier on, particularly trying to take the marches and, what was it, Essex I think, was really, really slow. Depending on the level of the fort, the more cannons that you bring to the fight, it will speed it up. So the level 1 forts, if you have 1 cannon, you get 1 extra siege strength, I guess you call it. I don't really know what the official term for that is. And then if you have 5 cannons, you get 5 additional siege strength. So that's basically 5 more rounds that you don't have to go through of the siege battle. So the sieges end more quickly. And as the forts level up, that basically multiplies by the level of the fort. So if you have a level 5 fort, to get the level 5 siege bonus, I think you need 25 cannons. So the high level forts really take a big investment to take down. And who was it that just completed? That was Finland, and I wanted to improve relations with someone. Who was that? Netherlands? Basically, you can fabricate anything that you're adjacent to or is in the same sea zone. So we could fabricate these two only because we hold these two provinces, which share the coast of the Faroes. Likewise, we can get for Cornwall because we're on the coast of Ireland in the same sea zone, and Gloucestershire is the same thing as over there. Right, so I wish I could remember what I was going to do with my guy. Did we ever embargo these? Yes, we did. I wasn't going to declare war. Pope, I can do the Pope thing. So, the next thing I could do here is increase the amount of taxes we are currently raising, which will make us more money, because as you remember, taxes is a hefty share of our income. So we're currently making 4 a month, which is brilliant. It's really good. I like that. Make me more money. Right. Burgundy no longer considers Northumbria a rival. So who are your rivals now? They are... Oh, you don't consider them a rival, but okay, and Picardy. Oh, brilliant. So Picardy really likes us. How many loans do we have left? We can repay another one. That is good. We will repay it. We're down to 10. This is becoming more manageable, so another war could certainly be on the cards, and at this point, because our economy has grown so much stronger now, we could now theoretically have up to 82 loans. We probably don't want to do that though. As you've seen, it takes forever to repay them, and I don't particularly want to spend an entire episode just recovering loans again. It is boring, it does not make good watching, and it's boring for you, it's boring for me. Right, we can no longer claim the Faroes. Fine, I guess. Oh, I might start another claim. We have that outstanding guy anyway. We were going to go Faroe Islands, which are these ones? Yes, they are. Right, yes. Cottage industry. Workers lose loyalty when we gain base production, or we can safeguard the guild, which reduces unrest and increases their loyalty. How is their loyalty? It's now 56. When can we get more? Oh, we can get more ships. Get another 5 heavy ships, and you will remember how these completely bailed us out last time. It does cost 10 loyalty, which brings it down to 46. I'm totally okay with doing that. Give me more ships, please. Now, I could reduce their loyalty even more in exchange for 2 base production, or I could increase their loyalty by 10. Reducing it by 10 takes it down to 36. Is there anything I can do? I can grant them monopoly charters, which basically converts prestige. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to not stand in the way of progress. Because I want more development. Development is good. We can get revolts. Why can we get revolts? Was that part of that event which I didn't notice? Yes, it was. That's fine. So be it. We do have a lot of unrest reduction, so getting 0.3 I'm not too worried about. We have a full army, we have full manpower, that's totally fine. Can you please get into a war with someone? That would be really quite helpful actually. Venetia is in a war, and they're in a very large war, and they are currently losing, including against 2 nations which don't have their name correctly done. Oh, paradox. That's the developer of the game. We do not have a guy. We'll take this guy back. We can increase the amount of reform desire. We can get a little bit of money. Money's always nice. Reform desire I don't particularly care about. Wales' opinion, they already love us. Nah, we'll do it. Tax them. Okay, Northumbria. If I were to go to war with you for Lancashire, Venetia would not answer the call. Aberdeen would. Now, one part of this I have not looked at before is I can promise them territory, which will increase the amount of basically it will increase the likelihood that they will answer the call. So if I promise them territorial gains, then that makes them far more likely to want to join. But I don't really want to give them territory here in England, so we're going to basically rely on their goodwill and do that. And we need our forts to be switched on. We're still earning a bit of money. We're currently recovering the morale. We will want to get a new general. I'm not going to do that the usual way because our army tradition is terrible. However, we can speak to the army and say, in exchange for 20 influence, which would make them dangerous in their influence. If there's a way of reducing that, I'll have a look in a moment. But would give us a 40 tradition general. We're going to do it. Now, their influence is dangerous. Can I reduce this at all? Lose loyalty. Gains influence. Loses loyalty. Okay, so basically we're just going to have to put up with the nobility being arseholes right now. And for another 9 years. Yeah, that's right. Oh well, so it goes. As soon as we conquer some more land from Northumbria, hopefully their influence will go down. Looming disaster. So every month there's a chance of an aristocratic coup, and I'm going to guess that's just going to spawn a bunch of rebels. We'll deal with that when it comes, I think. Right, another election. Oh, how good was the general? Great, it's fire. Well, we have a lot of infantry, and infantry is improving in combat strength, so it's not the worst thing that's ever happened. We don't currently have an admiral, but I'm not expecting Venetia to join this war, so I'm not particularly concerned about that right now. One more for them, because we'll need them in the fight, but I'm quite content to just leave them there for the moment. We're going to get another military candidate. I don't want to re-elect this one guy again. Okay, military. I wish it was shock rather than fire, but we have so many more infantry rather than cavalry, so fire may not be the worst thing ever. War. Venetia will remain out. Picardy. We are going to call Picardy and we are going to call Wales. This will cost us 10 favours. How many favours do we have with them, out of interest? We have got 49 favours with Wales. Wales really likes us, and 21 with Picardy. Well, Wales loves us. We gain 1 favour every year that we are allied to them, so we've been allied to Wales for a very, very long time. That's cool. I like that. That's this whole diplomacy thing with the favours and the saying what lands you want to conquer and all that. That's all new Cossacks, and that was one of the features I was really excited about in this. So, Picardy, you are not at war with anyone, right? Yes, you are. You are at war with Genoa and Venetia. Interesting. I'm going to leave them out of this war, and I'm just going to call in Wales. So Picardy can pick on Venetia, which is keeping them out of our war. Brilliant. And I don't want to distract them. I want them to weaken Venetia if possible. Northumbria, declare war. Bring in Wales. Greifswald will not, because they are hugely in debt. Join the club, Greifswald. Join the club. We could co-belligerise Aberdeen. In fact, we might just want to do that. You are only allied with Northumbria. Yes, we are going to co-belligerise them, because that means we could take some of this land. We might hurriedly need to build some ships to actually occupy this land, but I am cool with that. That is totally fine. War with Aberdeen again. And Northumbria. Boom. We are going to march into that province which shall not be named. We are going to reduce the speed quite a lot. Have we said this is one of the provinces that we want? I'm pretty sure we have. Does Wales want it, I wonder? Maybe. Okay, the Northumbrian fleet. They have rebuilt 2 of their heavy ships and have 12 transports. That's okay. That's fine. We could call Picardy in. I don't want to call Picardy in. where is their army? Yorkshire's going to fall without much problem. There it goes. We'll take Lancashire next. And now we're basically going to stand here next to the marches in case the marches get attacked. No, we'll take that province. Are you going to Glamorgan? So you're going to capture the Welsh capital. That's fine. Oh, that's one thing I was thinking about. The Vatican is now in Cardiff. I don't know, that just amuses me for some reason. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, it's 2,000 Aberdeen men. That's fine. I actually want Aberdeen to land troops on us because we currently do outnumber them quite heavily thanks to the Welsh fleet. If they land troops here, then that means their homelands are unguarded. So when we do land armies, we're not going to have many transports. So we'll only be landing tiny armies. And we don't particularly want to fight them with a landing, which is a -2 combat penalty for the attacker. So we get unaided during blockade, which is more unrest, or we lose a bit of admin. Meth is a fort. It gets less autonomy. I'm not particularly bothered by that. Unrest here right now is -7.6. Yeah, that's not really a problem. I'm not going to aid you, sorry. Okay, we have Lancashire. We'll wait until the little lock appears here for the Aberdeen troops, then we will march into Gwynedd. So we can't, so never mind. We are going to march to London. Maybe Derbyshire. Derbyshire. We want to stay close in case our enemies decide to attack us here. In fact, I'm going to say, as soon as the marchers have fallen, I'm going to say attach to this unit. And that will mean our allies stick with us, and then we'll have 25,000 against their 17. Significant numbers in our favour. Derbyshire is ours. Fantastic. Now, because we are currently laying siege to Munster, to marches, geography going out the window, they will not recapture Derbyshire. It's only if there's an uncontested siege that they will try and recapture. How's the heavies doing? I've just built a new heavy there. Fantastic. And our 3 heavies there are almost done. Huh. That means we have 4 heavies, which we could feasibly send after them. We will hire an admiral, who is actually a really good admiral. I'm pleased with that. Because we are over the limit for the number of leaders we can have, see 2 out of 1, we do pay 1 extra admin? No. 1 extra military power per turn to basically maintain that extra leader. Totally worth it at this point. I have no problem with doing that at all. So the marchers are going to fall fairly soon. They have a fairly good leader there. So, Glamorgan, is that in the hills or anything? Nope, that is grasslands. I see no reason that we can't just go and flush them out. You could get another idea. This is the cheaper land units, and it also gives us the cheaper ideas. However, we're not going to do that because we will need some admin power later on to core these lands once we've taken them. What's the war goal? Lancashire. Of course it is. Lancaster is rightfully mine. Right, that's taken. Oxfordshire will probably flip to our enemy once we move to engage Glamorgan, but that's fine. I don't mind that. We'll just sit here and loot it for a while. Most of these have no money left anyway. Yorkshire must burn. I don't care if I'm giving up Oxford. Yorkshire must burn. Right, so we have those 3 ships. We could send out 1 heavy against 1 light and 2 transports. Which I'm very tempted to do actually, because that would move them down. Then I can switch in the 3 to attack them. Let's do it. So 1 against 3, how are we doing? No leader, that's fine. They're not actually moving. So once we've destroyed or forced these 3 to withdraw, we can then move up to the Irish Sea, or we can jump back into port and repair, which we'll do very quickly. It'll just give us 1 tick of repairs, and then we can go with all 4 of our ships to attack the Irish Sea and have a much higher chance of actually taking stuff. So we're now here in Yorkshire. We are currently looting this province. There is a fair amount of money there, which is nice. How far? 12%. That's fine. We could repay another loan, which I am going to do. We are down to 9 single digits. Fantastic. Right, you repaired. Yes, Yes, you are. So we're going to move these ships. We're going to send these ships out. And to find out the results of this battle, you'll have to join me in episode 8. Cliffhangers, I love them. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe to this channel. Please do send me a comment if you have any tips or advice for me. I would be quite happy to read them, and I will respond to you if I can. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.